Welcome to Wrestling News Tonight. Let's talk about some recent WWE releases as well as AEW releases. I mean, this was one I was pretty surprised about. It was just reported today by Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, pretty reliable wrestling news sources. Wasn't expecting this one, but apparently Fightful Select is reporting tonight that Sheamus is officially quitting WWE after working with the company since 2006. Surprised to hear that one. I mean, they hired him back in 2006. He's been on the main roster and been on television since 2009. And they're saying that, WWE, they did offer Sheamus a restructured contract extension, but he turned it down. So when his contract expires, Sheamus will be officially quitting the company. Now, he's been out of action ever since November 2025 when he suffered an unfortunate shoulder injury when he was in that tournament, the John Cena The Time Is Now tournament. And then I think he had a shoulder surgery back in December 2025. He's been out of action ever since. But I was thinking Sheamus, once he recovers from that, hey, I figured he'd return to the company and he'd be maybe eventually, once he's not wrestling anymore, he'd be put under one of those Legends contracts where he shows up on television occasionally here and there. But no, he's saying that once that contract expires, he's out of there. So, and he is 48 years old right now. Maybe he's looking to wind down his wrestling career. I mean, who knows? Maybe he may end up going elsewhere to AEW or TNA or who knows where, but anyway, that's how old that's looking. And, wow, I mean, here he is. He's a four-time WWE champion and, three-time United States champion. What is he, maybe a five-time tag team champion, King of the Ring winner, Money in the Bank winner, Royal Rumble winner. So, I mean, he's pretty much done it all in WWE. But it looks like his time in WWE is coming to an end soon. Once his contract expires, that's it for him. So, also wanted to talk about, while I'm right here, some other WWE releases that, you may have missed, that maybe didn't get as much coverage and stuff. For instance, we also had in WWE, and she had been on WWE Evolve and WWE Legends and Future Greats a lot recently. And that's Masyn Holiday. There apparently, I think it was June 23rd. It looked like there was reports that she had quit WWE as well. So we have Sheamus quitting and Masyn Holiday quitting. And the thing is, when you watch episodes of WWE Evolve and WWE Legends and Future Greats, especially Legends and Future Greats, these were things that were taped months ago. So we'll probably still keep seeing her on television for months to come, but apparently as of June 23rd, it looked like she was had quit the company. Here's what she had to say about her reasons of why she quit WWE. And it's understandable. Basically, it looked like what she had said on her social media, it was she wanted to step away from WWE completely to focus on her mental health. And what she said, there's a direct quote from her social media. Masyn Holiday states, "I have left the WWE. I was very, 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 very extremely unhappy at that job. My depression and anxiety were at an all-time high," she said in a video posted on Instagram. She goes on to say, "I would look at myself in the mirror and not even know who I was anymore. It was that bad. I cried for months straight. And what kept me there was me telling myself, you don't know what you're going to do next. Well, what if you leave the job and you're still depressed and you're still miserable? I mean, those things kept me where I wasn't supposed to be for way too long." And she said that, these were signs she needed to make a change in her life. She said she felt like she had, quote unquote, it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders the day that she decided to quit. She also firmly noted that she's, quote unquote, not saying that WWE is bad and she was, quote unquote, not bashing nobody at WWE, and unquote. Quote, it's just for me and my purpose on this earth, it just wasn't aligning at all, she said. Quote, the things I desire in life and the places the WWE would take me was just, they were not aligned, unquote. And while struggling with what she wanted to do next in her life, Masyn Holiday, she said she turned to her faith. She says, quote, the day I quit, I did not plan to quit at all. It was all God. Before I walked in the building, I prayed to God, she said. Quote, I knew I didn't have the strength to make it through practice by myself because I did not want to be there. I did not want to wrestle anymore. It was an unbearable weight. I couldn't hold myself. I walk into practice, my coach comes up to me and she goes, what's wrong, Masyn? And then it all just comes out. And she goes, do you want to talk about it? I knew when I was going to quit, I was going to talk to the coach. So I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it. I don't want to wrestle anymore. And she said, the coach said, honestly, I could see it on your face every day. She said her coach told her that to make it in wrestling, it has to be in your heart. And Masyn Holiday realized that she didn't have it in her, unfortunately. Masyn Holiday goes on to say, quote, I knew that it wasn't my purpose and my calling to be the biggest WWE superstar there. Masyn Holiday emphasized that she's happy now that she quit WWE and she's at peace. So definitely wish Masyn Holiday the best, whatever she's going on to do in her life. So that's all that works. But you know how people that a lot of people say that in WWE. I mean, hey, when you really think about it, it's like these people are under a tremendous amount of pressure. They get paid well, but they're under a huge amount of pressure to do everything, completely by the script and everything like that. And every little thing they're doing is being scrutinized, so it's like, because there's so many people, they want to get into the business, and people are looking for every excuse possible to fire you so that they can bring in other people that they think might be better in the position that you're in. And so that's how all that goes there. So I wish the best of luck to whatever Masyn Holiday does in her future endeavors there for sure. Now, also along those lines, we have another wrestler that had quit the company. And that's a wrestler. I hadn't seen her on the company. And I hadn't seen her on WWE television in quite a while. And I figure I was kind of wondering what was ever going on with her. I figured she was injured, but is she coming back? I mean, apparently not, because also in June of 2026, Aria Bennett from WWE Evolve. She had been on the show quite a bit, and then all of a sudden, okay, she suffered a torn ACL in July of 2025, and then, she never came back to their show, WWE Evolve, so, but now, as of June of 2026, we found out, okay, it looks like she's officially quit the company, as now on her social media, she's now officially listing herself as a former WWE talent. And she removed her WWE specific profile from her social media. So it looks like, okay, she had suffered that torn ACL back in July 2025, and she's not returning to the company. So that's how things are going with her. Also wanted to mention, because I don't think I had mentioned this on the channel previously, if you hadn't already heard about this, it looks like in All Elite Wrestling, the tag team that had been around for quite a while, from the beginning of All Elite Wrestling back in 2019, the tag team of, Butcher and the Blade. Looks like their contract expired in All Elite Wrestling, and Tony Khan has decided not to renew it. And at least it seems like in All Elite Wrestling, they seem to kind of, they don't seem to fire people the way WWE just kind of seems like all of a sudden they do these big talent cuts and they just kind of pull the rug out from underneath somebody, people that are on television every week. all of a sudden they find out they do these big talent cuts. They fire like 20 to 25 people in a week all of a sudden, and all of a sudden those people are gone from the company. Lots of times it seemed like Tony Khan, his way of kind of terminating people seems to be a little more fair and stuff like that. He kind of waits till people's contracts expires, and then he just decides not to renew them and stuff. And that's the case of what happened here with the Butcher and the Blade. That tag team combination from All Elite Wrestling. So I figure I'd just throw that in there in case if you hadn't already heard that, you might be interested to hear about that. And all right, well, I'll say, hopefully I'll catch you on the next episode of Wrestling News Tonight. I want to see if I can do like a video like every day, just talking about different news stories that, hey, I think are interesting, that are going on behind the scenes in wrestling and all that. Some things we might want to talk about, things you might find interesting, or hey, maybe you might not find them interesting. But hey, I'll try to find like interesting topics that I find interesting. I figure we'll talk about them on the channel and stuff like that, and just see how it goes. So I figure I might change the name of the channel like slightly from Life with Failing Health. So I'll change that to Wrestling News Tonight / Life with Failing Health. That way people will know it's still the same old channel as before. I don't want to change the name of the channel completely, because then, I don't know, people that might be like, what the heck ever happened to that old channel and stuff like that, if they were interested in watching that. So, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.